All right. So it's our February Coffee with Coaches. And today we're going to talk about all things love because it's Valentine's Day and why not talk about love? So we're going to talk about body love. We're going to talk about self-love. We're going to talk about relationship love with our guru of relationships, Caitlin. And yeah, who wants to go first? And then definitely time for questions and if other people pop in, we'll coach.
Got it. Just kidding. You can go. So I'm Bree. I'm a compassion coach and a cognitive behavioral therapy practitioner. I have been recently also using like the wintry time to dabble in illustration with my new iPad that I decided to give myself. And it's been really nice. It's been fun to do that too. So let's see here. So exciting thing. I'm so glad it's very timely, but I actually have my self-love meditation on Insight Timer now.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so it's a 5-minute just self-love break for yourself that you can take anytime, and it's free on there. You can just search my name, Bree Luganbill. And if you don't know how to spell Luganbill, that's fine. I didn't want until I got married to that. So it is in the little chat thing, as well as over on the screen, you can see. But yeah, you can just search for that. And I encourage anyone that sees this today and pops in to just take 5 minutes and listen to that and give yourself some nice love. You could even do it on Valentine's Day to just like also celebrate that day of love for yourself. And yeah, so when I hear like love and self-love, a lot of the times before doing my own therapy and coaching for myself, it was like this trigger, like self-love. Oh my gosh, like it was very hard to give myself love and receive at the same time love from me because it's just not always taught, I think, in our society, and then generational cycles pass down that same kind of thing. But once I decided to try to sit down with myself and just take time for me, I started being a little bit more open to also using that time to give and receive my own love. It's so important because I think the most powerful person for our own mindset and other things for ourselves is us. Like we have that control if we think we do, and we give it to ourselves. And so being able to just make space for you and go, okay, I know this is hard, but for this amount of time, I'm going to tell myself these things that I know I need to hear, and I'm going to begin to open myself to receive them. It won't be like an instant, like, okay, now I feel good, or yes, I'm receiving them, because we'll push back, because we're not used to that. But just starting to create that new relationship to yourself where it's safe and okay and wonderful to give yourself love and affirmation is really incredible. And so I just encourage anyone, again, to listen to that meditation, because that's a really good like what is it called, like icebreaker into accepting your own love, because it's still another person. It's me on the other end talking to yourself and guiding you through opening yourself to that. But it's a wonderful thing, and it just creates safety, which we need. It creates security, and then it creates that ability to accept and receive. So that's my little spiel for self-love on Valentine's. So
Isn't that so true though? Like this is one thing we talk about in my program, how quickly we are to love and care for other people, and because it's the right thing, it's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be this loving person, and especially I think as a woman, right, we are all things love and motherly and nurturing and these things, but we never, or we have such a difficult time turning that around ourselves.
Yes. Yeah. So it's like unlearning what we were taught about that, and then and then learning that it's okay. Like we can give ourselves that same love we give to everyone else. And it's not selfish. It's self-care. We need it. Because that would be my block. I would be like, oh, it's selfish to do anything for me. It's like, nope, it's actually not. If you help yourself and take care of yourself first, everyone else will reap even more benefits from what you have to give. So anyway, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Caitlin, you want to go?
Sure.
This is your holiday.
Like, I know, it's so funny. I'm sitting here being like, I don't really love Valentine's Day. Yeah. And I've been thinking about kind of why, and the holiday in and of itself is fine. Like, doesn't really bother me, but I think that, oh, by the way, I'm Caitlin Zinchenko. I'm a relationship coach. And so, yeah, Valentine's Day is definitely in my wheelhouse. But I think the holiday in and of itself, like spending time with people that you love, is great. I think that we can fall into this idealization of relationships and what they should look like. And I think it's actually really detrimental to the way that we expect from people we love, the way that we expect ourselves to show up and act and feel in relationships. And so it reminded me of, there's something called, we all know, like codependency, codependent behavior, right? Like putting everyone else before yourself. There's also something that can stem from codependency called love addiction. And it is something that I am very familiar with in my own life. And interestingly enough, daughters of alcoholic fathers tend to be more likely to deal with love addiction. And so basically what love addiction is I don't know how to have healthy intimacy. And so I find men who cannot have healthy intimacy, and I chase and chase and chase and chase them to try to be what I think and what I expect a relationship should be like. And on their end, intimacy is overwhelming. So I'm coming at them and clinging and trying to control everything to be exactly the way I want it to be. And they are like, hey, too much. So it's this endless cycle of me chasing them and them running away, right? That's what love addiction is. And in love addiction, there's something called euphoric recall. And basically, as a love addict, you're more likely to think that a partner will save you, right? Like you have this really grandiose idea of what a partner can and will be for you and how they'll make you feel. And so it starts, even as a kid, it can start with euphoric recall, where you have these thoughts, these what's the word I'm looking for? I guess scenarios that play out in your head that depict this savior, this person who's going to come in and save all that you are. And it's this fantasy that you kind of live by. And actually it triggers the dopamine in your brain, which makes you feel good and makes you feel high. Then you finally get into relationship as a teenager or as an adult, and you expect to feel that way all the time. You expect your partner to always make you feel that way, to always love you unconditionally, even if you've made a mistake. And what it comes down to is this incredibly unrealistic expectation. And so I think that in our culture in general, we get bombarded in movies and in music and in pop culture. Like, here's what love is, right? It's this passionate thing where you just can't control how you feel and you just have to be with them, and they should love you all the time and they should always be there for you. And we set up this very unrealistic expectation for how we should, like I said, feel and act in a relationship and how people should feel and act toward us. And so for me, Valentine's Day is a reminder sort of that, ooh, what's the expectation here? Like, Valentine's Day is a great day to spend some extra time maybe with your loved one, but has it become one of those holidays like New Year's Eve where you're like, I have to do this thing and make it so great and feel so great and have so much fun, right? Like we all walk away from New Year's Eve and we're like, nothing is ever as fun as it looks, as it looks in the movies or whatever. And I think Valentine's Day can be the same way. So I think that my encouragement and what I'm trying to do is to like bring my expectations down to not just like what can I do to spend time with my husband or whatever, but actually what would make me happy? Because I can plan out this whole thing. We can go to, I mean, it's COVID. We can go to dinner, we can do all these things, we can get an Airbnb and like spend time away. But do I actually need that in order to feel loved and cared for? Or is that part of that unrealistic expectation that sometimes is fun, but sometimes just isn't necessary? And so I've been thinking like, maybe I just want to watch this show that we've been watching and like drink wine and eat cheese. So I think that what I'm trying to get to here is being aware of the expectations that we're constantly bombarded with and the expectations that we then think are realistic and logical, but that actually are way beyond what's actually realistic in relationship with family, with friends, with romantic partners. And so tuning into ourselves and figuring out, okay, this is what society says. This is what I think I've thought I needed. What do I actually like? What do I actually care about? What will actually fill up my cup? Because I can run after this picture perfect ideal for this holiday or for that relationship or whatever. Or I can tune into me and I can figure out, what do I actually need and how can I give to myself in a way that's actually filling and sustaining and not depleting. So that's kind of been my thought, just to kind of rewrite the expectations that we have, not even just for the holiday, but for ourselves in general. Like knowing ourselves and knowing what we need really impacts our relationships with ourselves and everybody else.
Okay, well, we're done here. No.
Oh my gosh.
Wrap it up.
I hope that is helpful. I know I can get on a spiel about love addiction because it's so interesting to me.
That's super interesting. And you're absolutely right. And it starts so little.
So little. I can remember doing it as a kid in elementary school, like thinking about, this boy I like, and he's going to be so nice to me. Like just this, it's this savior complex where we're like, we need this person to come save us. And it gets tricky once you get older.
Yeah. But even Ken and Barbie, and they're perfect, and they've got this, and the movies that were, oh, you're a princess, and right, all these things, like you're set up hard.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I have something interesting to add. You just made me think so much. I love it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
As you were talking about love addiction too, I was like, yes, I can totally relate. And then also, it's not the same, but I have been on like the receiving end of when someone hasn't been given love and then someone's kind to them, holds space for them. And then they're like, they do that, but it's not that they think that I'm this thing and that they want me. It's more of like and just in general, if someone does that for us too, where they hold that space and we don't feel like a romantic love, but we just feel an attraction towards them because, and not even, romantic attraction, just like, I want to be around this person because they're accepting and they are holding space for me and I'm not used to this. So I've definitely had that happen before, like on either end. Like I was that person, but then there were other people that were like that too. So like learning what you just even said in this little bit, which now I'm like, okay, I need to like take a love addiction 101 class with Caitlin. It's so interesting to look back at my past and just be like, when was I that instance of that person that needed love and like found that? And then when was I that person that was giving that? And someone was like, whoa, I actually am deciding to come over to you instead of coming over to someone that's not available. But then they're coming with all this stuff they're going through that they might not even know subconsciously. And they're trying to heal through like being around you and such. I can just think of one instance where I just remember this person that was, I think he was like 2 years younger than me. And he went to my like youth group. And so I would like drive him there and things like that. And we would just have talks. And then he would start writing blogs about me. He actually put my like social security number as a joke online. And I was like, whoa, like that's not okay.
Boundary crossed.
But I think it was more like he was testing the waters to see if I would leave.
Mhm.
You know, if he did so much, would I leave just like whatever happened in his past, you know?
Yeah.
And I didn't. I gave him a talk to, but like, and then I also explained like, hey, like other things of how we can both have good boundaries with each other and what our relationship to one another is. But it just makes me often, like, when we are still working through a trauma, we can work through it with someone subconsciously by like trying to heal. And it's like, I want everyone to like release that guilt from if we've done that, or if we can currently do that, or if someone else did it to us, and know that we're all just trying to heal. And whether it's love addiction or whether it's this person like reminds me of something I should be treating myself as and I want now, and I'm actually saying no to like love addiction now, but I can get like really strongly over to them to know that you can find that power within yourself, but also you can find that power within people that understand you and what your needs are, and finding that safe, like loving space. Cause it just is like, yeah, everyone deserves to feel that and feel loved and work through it and everything. So I don't know if that made any sense.
No, it totally does. Because at the core, like if we're talking love addiction specifically, at the core of that is codependence, which is this immaturity of identity, immaturity of like being able to express and receive emotions from others. It's an identity issue where there's a void and there's not self-love. There's nothing holding that person up from the inside. So then they're taking everything from the outside and trying to make that their structure. And so that's exactly what you're talking about, right? Like when we're clinging to someone like that, or someone is clinging to us like that, there's a void internally that says, I'm not enough by myself and I need someone else to tell me that I'm enough. And with love addiction, you made me think basically what happens is as a kid, there was probably some abandonment or some disconnection with a core caregiver. And so there's pain there. And then what happens is they connect with another caregiver, an aunt or an uncle or whatever. And so then they learn, oh, when I have pain, a relationship makes me feel better. And so that void continues to get filled with anyone that they think gives them meaning, gives them love, makes them feel worthy. And so it's an issue of, really, it becomes an issue of self-love, which is all what you're talking about, Bree. Like, if we don't have that within ourselves, we will find it somewhere else, whether it's healthy or not.
Exactly. Yeah. And now I see them now, and they are like really, they explored their identity a lot in college, and they are now like really embracing who they are. And it just makes me so happy for them that they're finally finding that like relief, peace, and identity. But it's also like, oh, why did people have to go through, why do we all and other people have to go through all of this stuff? And then it takes us, so much to get to where we are. But yeah, so I just like, I'm like full of love for everything right now. But yeah, it's so interesting. And I think it's really cool to be here today and just talk about the dynamics of relationships, or what we have done or what we've seen other people do with them in the past to get really what we need is love from ourselves, confidence that we can give it to ourselves, and then we can cultivate that group of people too that we can go to, but they don't have to be our savior, right? They can still be our comfort and our safe people, but they validate what we already know, right? And what we already are. And when we question that, that's why they're there. They tell us exactly what we need to hear when we need it. So yeah.
I love it.
Jen, I love you. You're like, yeah.
I love you guys. I'm like, oh, I just love this time together. You're good. You guys are so fun. Gosh, well, yeah, I mean, I guess linking the two of those together. So I'm Jen, and I do all things body and self-love, and that's what this is all about, and what it boils down to, whether it comes out as a relationship issue, whether it comes out as a body image issue, or addiction, or confidence, or all self-compassion. Those are all just symptoms. They're all just coming out in different vehicles, right? And So the idea that if I can start to understand, so if we're looking at it from the view of the body, because you've already talked about dopamine and all these things that happen, Caitlin, but like, yeah, we can create that sensation even for ourselves. And we can start to understand our body as a container that holds the essence of who we are and whatever we're going to be putting into that compassion, kindness, self love, all these things. We already have everything that we need within us. Sometimes we just have to refine those like connections of whether it's to ourself, who am I, especially at this phase in life, things are getting weird. It's this whole, who am I? What do I really want? What do I want to feel? What do I want life? This is what life is. What? Like, all the things. So, yeah, this idea that my body is so wise and it already knows what I need to heal, what I want to cultivate or manifest. We just have to create opportunity for it. And so I would love just to offer a body-based practice because that's my favorite thing to do. So, fun fact. So relating to my favorite nerve of the body, the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is super, super important to how our whole body functions, but also how it feels. And so you could call this like, this is your fight or flight. This is your rest and digest. This is how you breathe. This is how your heart beats. This is all things functioning in your main functions, right? When we kind of can play with this nerve a little bit and actually increase the tone like we would strengthen a muscle, we have to work it out. You can do simple things like even gargling, chanting, singing. That's why you feel so good when you're in your car alone and you crank it up and you're like, singing your favorite song and like you don't care. It's because you're actually creating vibration, which stimulates that nerve, which feels really good. It feels like honey, right? All over your nervous system. So I would love to offer the idea of how in yoga, when we chant Om, Om, okay, we're going to do I am. So we're going to give ourselves a little affirmation statement. With that, I think it would be really lovely to offer yourself somatic hug. So you take your right hand and put it in your left armpit, really close and cozy to your heart. Take your other one, wrap it around. Feel this nice coziness. And here we are just simply, what does self-love feel like? It could feel, you want to cultivate some warmth. You want to make that like cozy feeling of what it feels like to be hugged when we're far away and isolated from people and hugs right now. This feels so good. So just take a nice big breath in first and even push into your arms, that resistance that your chest and arms meet, and then just exhale it out. So as you sit here, as you start to notice your breath feeling supported by where you're seated, I want you to come up with your affirmation statement. I am, and maybe it's love. Maybe you already are love. The love that you want, you already have. You already are this love. Or maybe it's calm or whatever you want your word to be. And so on your next in-breath, we're going to fill full, squeezing into that hug. On your exhale, I want you to say your word. So if I were to say, I am love, and then emphasize your or your v or your whatever your word is. Okay. So we're all just going to get weird and do that together. So big breath in. Exhale your word. Love. And just keep going until your breath is gone, gone, gone. Notice that little bit of empty space at the end, and then inhale. Go again. I am love. Okay, just let your hands rest at your heart. Rest in that I am statement. You already have everything that you need within you. You can surround yourself with feelings of love, beautiful flowers, feeding chocolate to yourself, taking a nice bath, taking a walk, but really just pausing to connect with yourself and your body. Nice big breath in. Exhale, let it out. And then come on back. Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks for playing.
Mhm.
Good. Well, yeah, I guess we'll just open up some time. If Jen or Kristen, if you have questions, so self-love, relationship love, body love, whatever you want to bring out, we're here.
Yeah, this is definitely a great space to workshop with coaches for free. So whatever you want. Oh yeah, Jen.
Hey. I took so many notes, just so you know, that's my kind of love language, taking notes. But I'm thinking a lot about, so the self-love thing is hard, right? The identity. I think, Bree, you were talking about the 5-minute meditation you have, and it is hard to, I find it very difficult to accept, I guess, the receiving end. Like in my head, I'm like, I know I'm great. I know I'm worthy. I'm fine. But like in my heart, it's really hard to hear it and accept it from myself. It's really difficult, I think, because you're not used to it. Nobody taught me this. And Jen, when you were talking about, maybe it was Kayla. I'm sorry, I don't remember who now, but one of our good family friends, she always says you were taught joy, which is Jesus, others, yourself, and that's the wrong order. Like it's the wrong order.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're undoing years and generations of teaching, and that's hard to pass down to my daughter, just because it's a difficult task to undo.
Mm-hmm. I just want to validate you and also commend you, because just being aware and also working on it now will not only be wonderful for you, but you're already changing your daughter's life because of being aware of that, just by that awareness. So it starts at the subconscious level and it'll keep going. So
Thanks.
yeah. Mm-hmm. And you're not alone, because the self-love part was very hard for me. It took years of it before I felt like I could do it on my own fully. But and then the first part of it, of listening to other meditations of people saying it, that was very helpful. But I fought it a lot. I would listen to it sometimes, be like, I feel nothing. Or peace, I don't want to listen to this. I'm doing it because I should, and so just the act of maybe doing that here and there, even if it doesn't feel like anything for like months, because you're actually doing it and listening to it, it will get ingrained within your body and your mind, and eventually there will be this like release of that wall, so yep.
Thanks for that encouragement.
Also, wherever you are, I just love the wood, the background. It looks really peaceful.
I'm in my office. It is all wood everywhere. The guy that we purchased the house from made it that way. And it is nice because it's very office-y feeling. Like we have bookshelves and
that's beautiful.
And then there's windows everywhere, which is why they're covered. But it is, honestly, it's a really great space for this last year of COVID, when I've been working from home with my children at home, virtual schooling, not in this room. So yeah, I'm thankful for this space, and I love the light in it, and it helps me stay focused. And then I can also just leave the space and be done here.
Oh, so good. Yeah, absolutely gorgeous. I love like trees and I love nature. So that's why I'm like drawn to that room. I'm like, oh, it looks like grounding. Like it just looks so beautiful. So I'm glad you can have that space.
Yes.
Oh, I think we got a message.
This would be a great one for Caitlin to address. If you want to
Yeah.
read it, and then
Kirsten, thank you for sharing. I would say if you're interested in learning more about love addiction, Pia Melody has a book called Facing Love Addiction. She also has a book called Facing Codependence that is really good, and I'll add it in the chat. That has a lot of information about love addiction and the cycles and kind of how it starts and what it looks like. So that may be a good read. And I also like, and I'll let, if you want to hop on and talk more about this, or if the chat is good for you, I think that's great. Getting like wanting material signs of love is very valid. I do not think that you're the only one who feels that way. And to some extent, and you can add this in the chat if you feel like it resonates, it may just be your love language is, right, like acts of service, gifts, and that may not actually be a pain point, or it may be that those things kind of, because actual intimacy is hard, maybe that feels like a safe way to experience love. Let me read what you've got here. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's definitely probably a safe way to experience love, especially this last sentence here, right? I need to buy things to feel love. It sounds like it's part of like filling that void, which we all have different ways to do that. We all find different ways to take care of ourselves. That is not actually taking care of ourselves. And for me, it is watching TV. My family is like all about TV, always on. So I have learned that it will make me feel better, even though it doesn't. And then like organizing or redecorating my house or like buying little things definitely can sometimes be that like faux comfort. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. We definitely learn these things from our parents. Yeah. So if it feels like, man, I'm just having a hard time receiving love any other way, that may honestly be like an intimacy, self-love issue with you that you can work on internally. Because sometimes it's easy to be like, well, if they would just do this thing, or if he would just love me this way, or if my mom would just say this, I'd feel better. That's actually something that you can take internally to kind of figure out, okay, there's obviously a disconnect. How can I start shifting my relationship with intimacy and love internally so that then my reactions and my experiences externally shift as well? So it sounds like, and again, you can resonate with this or not, maybe it's not the right call, but I think it sounds like you're probably in that disconnect space where you're trying like so hard to get that cup filled and to feel full and to feel satisfied and to feel loved. But that cup is like, this one type of love that would actually feel scary. And so then we fill in all the things that leave a bunch of space and feel emptying. So let me just validate you that you are not alone. That is so valid. And really that book, Pia Melody, Facing Love Addiction, may be a great place to start, especially if you're feeling like you really, really resonate with the idea of love addiction in general.
and we didn't even talk about love languages. That
Yeah.
just I was like, we're here having a love talk, and we didn't even talk about that. I'm actually.
Oops.
Oh, go ahead, Kristen.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Yes, totally. Yeah, it comes down to coping mechanisms. We learn unhealthy ways to cope, and then we do those on repeat, and they don't help, but we don't know how else to do it. We literally, like you said, have never learned anything different. So I love that you're working with someone and kind of figuring out, okay, how can I integrate some new knowledge so that you can receive love in a way that actually feels like receiving love. Yeah, I love that.
Good stuff. Yeah, love languages though too. I mean, I think it's so great to become aware of what that whole piece of it, of what we just all talked about, of filling voids, right? But then it also comes down to some communication skills sometimes of how we give and receive, and how, well, this is how I feel love, so everyone must feel this way. And this is a constant challenge in our relationship, because um, he is acts of service, I am words of affirmation, and we are constantly misfiring on each other, because I am seriously super, super spoiled. I can never complain about anything because he hustles, right? And we have all this other stuff happening. He acts of service his ass off for everyone. Yet then he's left feeling kind of empty because he thinks, well, I'm over here working so hard. Why isn't everybody else doing that to show me? Right. And I'm over here like, thanks. Like, gold star. All right. Like,
Yeah.
thanks for doing everything. I don't know. But like, in the meantime, I'm like, well, why can't you just say something nice? Why do you have to be critical? Because I'm not serving the way you're serving, right? And we're constantly misfiring on each other for this. So I think it's really good. Just, it's such a simple concept that Gary Chapman came up with however long ago, right? But this idea, it's so true that we just give and receive in different ways, and understanding that, and to really speak each other's language. And in the middle of that, sometimes you need an interpreter of, we just need help learning how to communicate. Right. So that's what I've got. Yeah.
Thank you guys both, Jen and Kirsten, for sharing and for letting us kind of speak to some things. That's always so fun and hopefully helpful for you.
Mhm. Yeah. I'm
Very
so glad you guys showed up.
Love it.
All
I
right.
wanted to plug Jen because the hum, I can't say it right. I'm still learning from you, but what she did for us today is actually on her Instagram. She has a post on it, which I found helpful for my own personal self. So if you are wanting to learn a little bit more about that and kind of have something that you can just save for later, definitely DM her and get that. I think she also shared it within our private heart-centered trauma group too. So it's also there. Sounds like we have a little one that might be stopping it. We'll see. Actually, I think he's closing. Oh no, hi. Hey bud. And so that's all I'll say for now. I'm gonna mute this.
Thank you. Yeah. Caitlin, do you have anything coming up this month?
Nothing events wise. I am still I have some spots open in my program, Lasting Relationship Recovery, where we talk a ton about like this inner stuff, right? Like there are reasons that we act out in life the way that we do. I talk a lot about love addiction because this is not, like Kirsten said and like Jen said, we don't learn these things. Like we are taught a very specific societal standard for relationships. And so in LRR, we get to like get all underneath that and actually figure out, what have you learned? What do you believe? How is that affecting the patterns that you find in relationships? And then how do we heal that? And so if that's something that you're interested in, I have some spots left open and I'd be happy to talk with you about it.
Highly recommend, Caitlin.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi.
And if you wanna see my little
Look at that cutie.
he's cracking me up.
Hillary, I know we've got like about 5 minutes left. We've talked about body love and self-love and relationship love. So if there's anything that you want to pop on, we got you.
Hi. I'm a little late, but I thought I'm just gonna try anyways.
Good.
Heck yeah.
But
Is anything on your heart? Is there anything we can support you in today?
oh, you guys are so sweet. Yeah, I guess like just thoughts in general, just continuing to try to love myself and promote self-love within myself. I don't know if that makes sense, but and it's going good. Like I think right now, like I'm in a season where I definitely am struggling with that more I don't know.
Mm.
But I'm trying, so just kind of taking it one day at a time.
I'll make sure you get the recording of this too, just so you can hear our chit chat that we went over.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, it's okay, whatever I can, just like to pop in and say hi.
I'm glad. I'm so glad. And you're doing such a great job of just loving yourself and loving your kids and doing the things, growing and stretching so much right now.
Yes, I feel that for sure. It's uncomfortable,
Yes.
but I feel like this week especially, I've felt like I've been through some uncomfortable changes, but that I'm settling into a routine, which feels really good. And I'm proud of myself. So yay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really cool just to end on. Maybe we could say like one thing that we're gonna do that's focused on us for Valentine's Day
I like it.
instead
Me
of
too.
what you're gonna do to please other people. What are you gonna do just to love yourself this weekend?
Mm.
This is Jen.
Oh, you
I
switched places.
I think that I'm going to. I did. Sorry, I have to pick up kids. It's like. Um, I think that I'm going to sit in my room in my bed because it's a purple bed and it's adjustable and I love it. And have my candle on that I love, which is like an apple pie scent. So it's really calming to me. And put some flowers in my room because I generally don't get flowers. So I'm just buying them for myself lately.
Yes.
That makes me happy and it
Yes.
makes me feel good.
I love it.
Good. Kristen says, I'm getting a haircut and a brow wax. Woo!
Yes.
Awesome. I'm
Right.
gonna try to let go of some expectations and just be glad I get to spend time with my honey.
Aw.
So good. Just showing up. You feel full, right? I think when we feel full, it has nowhere else to go but out.
Mm.
So I'm sure that's gonna radiate out to him too.
P.S. Hillary, it was nice to see you.
Yes, I thought the
My
same
Rise
thing.
Up girls. They're all best friends now. See?
Yes. No, I saw your face when you turned the video on and I was like, Jen, yay. There's something really special about seeing people's faces, especially like in this time, and to see Bree. It was so nice to see your face and
I
Jen.
know.
It's really, I don't know, I'm such a visual person. So even just seeing your faces, I'm like, yay. So
Aw,
Awesome.
it's so nice.
yeah.
I'm gonna give myself a nice bath. I'm a bath person, and I just need to feel warm and stretched out. And
Mm.
I'm gonna have a bath this weekend.
I'm on board with Kirsten. I'm still like, what do I actually want to do on Sunday? Nothing? Great. Let me do nothing. Like, I'm going to tap into what actually would make me happy and do that because that has started making life much more enjoyable.
On Sunday, actually it just got scheduled. I used to do like photo shoots for my own with me as the subject for my own self-confidence, body image, empowerment, and just because it just makes me feel happy. And so I just scheduled that. A friend reached out and said, hey, would you want to do a Snow White with your black dyed hair type thing out in your property? And I'm like, sounds good, even though it's going to be 17 degrees outside. But I'm like, that's fine. I'll be all bundled up and make it look fun. But I'm excited because that's just for me. It's good affirmation to look at the images after and affirm myself in all the ways. And I have not done that type of thing since really COVID started. So that's just for me. So that'll be that.
Sounds awesome.
Right. Hillary, are you gonna love yourself this weekend?
Yeah, I don't know how. I'm listening to all you guys and I'm like, oh, those are all great ideas. I think what I'll probably do is take my dog Gypsy for a walk. I've been going to different trails. Almost every day I've been going somewhere. And so my bond with her has gotten super strong. And she's like sitting right here with me, but like I can just take her out and say heel and she'll just come to my side. And
Aw.
and it, like, today I took her to get groomed, so she looks hilarious. And I don't know, like, I think I'll probably go with my girl and go hiking. I think that sounds really fulfilling. So
It's lovely.
yeah.
All right. Well, our time is about done. I love you all, even though we're all different places in the world. On a side note, I am researching for a new program kind of surrounding like balance and wholeness. So I'm doing market research. So if anyone wants to give me some input and get a free session,
Mm.
I've got that open right now.
Nice.
So that's what I've got. Oh, all right. Take care. Be well. See you next month.
Yeah.
All right.
Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
Valentine's. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, I really liked it.